All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today.
Into improv?
Yeah, into improv. Um, we've got some really cool source material today. We are taking a look at a text all about
Acting and performing.
acting and performing.
Yes.
Exactly. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on
Improv?
improvisation, yes, and the ground rules for improv. And I think this is going to be super interesting because I think
It's a skill set that everyone can use.
it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just for actors,
No, not at all. Right.
who doesn't need to learn how to think on their feet.
Exactly.
Yeah. And just
Or collaborate better, or handle the unexpected.
Exactly. So we're going to be looking at all that stuff today. Some of the things that we're going to be uncovering, I think, are super fascinating. Like the link between improv and ancient comedy.
Yes.
What?
Like way back.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, how does that even work? And then also how improv is used in therapy and education.
Yes.
I mean, what? That's crazy.
I know. It's really hard.
I know. It's going to be good.
It's cool. Yeah. It's applicable to so many different areas of life.
So interesting. So to kind of set the stage a little bit, I mean, what exactly are we talking about when we say improvisation?
I think most people, when they think about improv, they're thinking about, like, whose line is it anyway? You know, like making things up and being funny.
Yeah.
But really, it's creating something spontaneously without a script, without any pre-planning.
And I feel like we do that all the time in life, right?
All the time, yeah.
Like if someone asks you a question and you're like, oh,
Or you're put on the spot. Or
yeah.
You have to figure something out.
Just the other day I was at the grocery store and my card wasn't working.
Oh, no.
I know. And so it was like, I don't have any cash. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, luckily, thank goodness I had like Apple Pay or something on my phone. But I was like, oh no. Like this is a real life improv moment happening right now.
Yes.
But yeah, so thinking about improv, I would say it goes like way back.
Yeah.
Like how far back are we talking?
I don't know. We're talking as far back as like storytelling, oral storytelling. Like thousands of years ago, people would just get up and tell stories.
And they had to like come up with it.
And come up with it on the spot or embellish or...
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then ancient Greek and Roman comedy, those were all based on improv.
I mean, that's incredible. Were they like wearing togas?
Yeah, wearing togas and doing improv.
I love it. I love it.
And then, a little bit later on, there's Commedia dell'arte, which was very popular in like 16th and 17th centuries in Europe.
Okay.
And this was also a form of improv theater where they would, they had stock characters and they would use masks.
Okay.
And they would improvise scenes based on those characters.
I'm guessing that probably led to like a lot of physical comedy.
Lots of physical comedy.
Yeah, that makes
slapstick.
sense. Yeah.
And they would interact with the audience.
Oh, wow.
So they had to be very, very good at thinking on their feet.
So they were really reading the room, even back then.
Even back then.
Wow.
So it was really cool to see that through line.
Yeah. And I guess the masks, I'm assuming, kind of like forced them to rely more on their physicality?
Exactly. They couldn't rely on facial expressions, so they had to use their bodies to convey emotion.
That's really interesting. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we've got like, thousands of years of improv.
Yes.
That's incredible. But you mentioned earlier that improv is used in some pretty unexpected places.
Yes.
Like therapy. I'm really curious about this. Can you like kind of break that down for me?
Yeah, so there's something called drama therapy,
Okay.
which uses improv as a way to help people explore their emotions and practice communication skills and build empathy.
Okay, so how does that like actually work? Do they like, I don't know, put on a little show?
Well, it's not necessarily about putting on a show.
Okay.
It's more about using improv exercises and games
Okay.
to create a safe space where people can experiment with different behaviors and roles. And it's really powerful because it allows people to step outside of themselves and try on different perspectives.
Gotcha. So like, could you give me like a specific example of how this might be used?
Sure. Imagine someone who struggles with social anxiety.
Okay.
And they're terrified of public speaking.
Okay, yeah.
In a drama therapy session, they might start with very small improv exercises.
Okay.
Like making eye contact with others in the group. Or perhaps saying just one line.
Okay.
And then gradually build up to more challenging exercises.
Right.
Like, delivering a short presentation.
Okay, so it's like kind of like a way to like dip their toe in the water.
Exactly. It's about creating a safe and supportive environment where they can face their fears and practice coping mechanisms. And then eventually, hopefully, they can take those skills
out into the real world.
Out into the real world, exactly.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I mean, it makes so much sense when you explain it that way.
Yeah.
But you know what else is really cool about improv? There are like actual ground rules,
Yes, there are.
like things that you should and shouldn't do. So
Yes.
let's break those down. Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Let's get into it.
What's the first one?
Well, first of all, you have to know the focus.
Know the focus.
Right. Like, what's the scene about?
Okay, so it's like kind of like we need to be on the same page.
Exactly. We need to have a shared understanding
Okay.
of what we're trying to create.
Gotcha. So like if we were going to do an improv scene right now,
Okay.
we should like decide what it's about.
Exactly. Like, what's the location? What are the relationships between the characters?
yeah.
What's the conflict?
Okay, got it. What's the next rule?
Physicalize.
Physicalize. What does that even mean?
That means use your body. You know, actions speak louder than words.
Okay.
So if you're just standing there talking, it's not going to be very interesting. But if you're using your body, if you're moving around,
Okay.
if you're using gestures,
Gotcha.
it's going to be much more engaging for the audience.
So, like, if we were going to do a scene right now, and let's say the scene is,
Okay.
I don't know, I'm trying to find a book in a library.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, I'm looking for a book, I should be like shuffling sounds, like.
Exactly. You're looking through the shelves,
Yeah.
you're pulling out books, you're putting them back.
Yes, yes. And maybe I'm like, like wiping the sweat off my brow.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that's physicalizing. What's next?
React.
Yes. Okay, so what does that mean in the context of improv?
It means respond authentically to what your scene partner is doing.
Okay.
So if I say something to you,
Yeah.
you need to actually listen and respond in a way that makes sense.
Gotcha. So, like, if you were to say to me right now,
Okay.
I can't believe you're wearing that hat.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be like, oh, thanks, I like it too. Like, I should be like, what's wrong with my hat? I love this hat.
Exactly. Or, maybe you're offended.
Right.
Maybe you're confused.
Yeah.
But you need to react in a way that's genuine.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, don't just, like, go with the flow, really. Like, feel it.
Feel it. Exactly.
Okay. All right. What about accepting offers?
Yes. This is huge.
Okay.
Accepting offers means saying yes to what your scene partner is giving you.
Okay.
So if I say, hey, let's go to the moon,
Yeah.
you don't say, no, we can't go to the moon.
Right.
You say yes, and let's take a picnic.
Okay. Okay. So, like, always, like, keep the scene moving forward.
Exactly. Don't block, which is
Okay.
the opposite of accepting.
So blocking would be like, no, we can't go to the moon because I'm afraid of heights.
Exactly. That would just shut the scene down.
Okay, got it. Got it. So yes and.
Yes, and. Very important.
Yes and. Okay. What else we got?
Respect and collaborate.
Okay, so
Teamwork makes the dream work.
I mean, that's just like good life advice in general.
Exactly. It applies to everything.
Right.
So in improv, it means listening to your scene partner, supporting their ideas,
Gotcha.
and working together to create something great.
So not try to like outshine each other or.
No, it's not about being the star. It's about creating something together.
Okay, awesome. What else?
Justify?
Justify, yes. Give reasons for your actions.
Okay, so like if you were to suddenly start singing in the middle of a scene,
Right.
you should have a reason for why you're doing that.
Exactly. Maybe you're nervous.
Okay.
Maybe you're trying to distract yourself.
Okay.
Maybe you just really love to sing.
Gotcha. So even though it's improv, there should still be like a logic to it.
Exactly. It should make sense.
Okay, all right, what else?
Main focus.
Main focus, okay.
So this means staying in the moment,
Okay,
not getting distracted,
gotcha.
and making sure that the audience is engaged. Okay, so like not going off on tangents or like breaking character.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. And what about side coaching?
Oh, side coaching.
Yes.
This is when someone outside of the scene
Okay.
gives you feedback or
Okay.
suggestions to help you improve your performance.
So like if we were doing a scene right now, and you were like, this, you should do this, or this, you should say that.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. So it's like kind of having a little Helmer.
Yeah, a little helper, a guide.
Gotcha. Okay, so those are all the ground rules of improv.
Yes.
But I feel like we've like really learned a lot today.
I think so too.
We've gone from like ancient comedy to modern day therapy.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's amazing how versatile improv is.
And how it can be applied to so many different aspects of our lives. Like,
it's not just about being funny on stage.
It's not just about being funny on stage.
It's about being present.
Yeah.
And adaptable and creative.
And I feel like those are skills that everyone can benefit from.
Absolutely.
So I guess the question is,
how are you going to use improv in your life?
How are you going to use improv in your life? I mean, we've given you all the tools.
We have.
Now it's up to you to put them into practice.
Get out there. And
improvise your life.
Yes.
Make it a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
That's all the time we have for today.
Keep thinking.
We keep thinking about improv. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.
See ya. Carbon Arset.